Subscribe my channel True Artist for more video. The future looks bright, except when it doesn't. Here are 5 exceptionally regrettable developments we can expect in the coming decades. 5 predictions about the future that should scare the hell out of you. Number 1. Virtually anyone will be able to create their own pandemic. Earlier this year, Oxford's Global Priorities Project compiled a list of catastrophes that could kill off 10% or more of the human population. High on the list was a deliberately engineered pandemic, and the authors warned that it could happen in as few as 5 years. Many of the technologies for this prospect are starting to appear, including the CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing system and 3D bioprinters. What's more, the blueprints for this kind of destruction are being made available. A decade ago, futurist Ray Kurzweil and technologist Bill Joy scolded the U.S. Department of Health for publishing the full genome of the 1918 influenza virus, calling it extremely foolish. More recently, a number of scientists spoke out when Nature decided to publish a so-called gain of function study explaining how the bird flu could be mutated into something even deadlier. The fear is that a rogue state, terrorist group, or a malign individual might create their own virus and unleash it. Natural selection is good at creating nasty and highly prolific viruses, but imagine what intentional design could concoct. Number 2. People who transfer their minds to computers are actually killing themselves. One of the more radical visions of the future is a world in which biological humans have traded in their corporeal bodies in favor of a purely digital existence. This would require a person to literally upload their mind to a supercomputer. But this hypothetical process might actually result in the permanent destruction of the original person. It would be a form of unintentional suicide. This is what's known as the continuity of consciousness problem. Sure, we may eventually be able to cut, copy, and paste the essence of a person's personality and memories to a digital substrate. But transferring the seat of consciousness itself may be an untenable proposition. Neuroscientists know that memories are parked in the brain as physical constructs. There's something physically there to copy. But consciousness still eludes our understanding, and we're not certain how it arises in the brain, let alone how we can transfer it from point A to point B. It's also quite possible that subjective awareness cannot be replicated in the digital realm, and that it's dependent on the presence and orientation of specific physical structures. Mind uploading will likely require destructive atomic-scale scanning of the brain. It would be similar to the way teleportation is done in Star Trek. Indeed, one of the dirty little secrets of this sci-fi show is that the person being teleported is actually killed each time it happens, replaced by an exact duplicate who's none the wiser. Mind transfers could be similar, where the original brain is destroyed, replaced by a digital being who's convinced they're still the original, but it would be a delusion. Number 3. Privacy will become a thing of the past. We are rapidly approaching the era of ubiquitous surveillance, a time when virtually every aspect of our lives will be monitored. Privacy as we know it will cease to exist, supplanted by Big Brother's eyes and ears. Governments, ever fearful of internal and external threats, will increasingly turn to low-cost, high-tech surveillance technologies. Corporations, eager to track the tendencies and behaviors of its users, will find it impossible to resist. Citizens of the surveillance society will have no choice but to accept that every last detail of their lives will be recorded. Today already, surveillance cameras litter our environment, while our computers, smartphones, and tablet devices follow our daily affairs, whether it be our purchasing proclivities or the types of porn we watch. In conjunction with powerful data mining algorithms, virtually everything we do would be monitored. Number 4. The effects of climate change will be irreversible. Late last year, world leaders forged an agreement to limit human-caused global warming to 2 degrees Celsius. It's a laudable goal, but we may have already passed a critical tipping point. The effects of climate change are going to be felt for hundreds, and possibly thousands, of years to come. And as we enter into the planet's 6th mass extinction, we run the risk of damaging critical ecosystems and radically diminishing the diversity of life on Earth. Climate models show that even if carbon dioxide levels came to a sudden halt, the levels of this greenhouse gas in Earth's atmosphere will continue to warm our planet for hundreds of years. Number 5. The antibiotic era will end. An increasing number of diseases are becoming resistant to antibiotics. Eventually, we could make the unhappy transition to a post-antibiotic era, a time when even the most routine infections could threaten our lives. The era of antimicrobial-resistant bacteria will change medicine as we know it. Transplant surgery will become difficult, if not impossible. Simple operations, such as a burst appendix, will be perilous once again. Pneumonia would ravage the elderly, as would many other diseases of old age, including cancer. How bad could it get? A recent report by the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries in Britain predicted that the new era of antimicrobial resistance will kill upwards of 10 million people each year by 2030. No wonder they're calling it the antibiotic apocalypse. You shouldn't freak out about the antibiotic apocalypse. Thank you for your watch and support. Please don't forget to subscribe our channel True Artist.